James McConnell from Navan. He was given a garden belonging to brothers Art and Aidan O'Quillan. Their Artane garden is home to 10 pet ducks.
If there was a gold medal for perfection and attention to detail, and James would be running away with it.
It's as good as I could do it within the time. My own garden took me 26 years to do. Everything worked just like magic. I had a great team, and without them I couldn't have done it.
This is Art and Aidan's finished garden. James created an eco-friendly habitat for 10 pet ducks, with formal vegetable sections inspired by the Victorian garden.
I love everything about the garden. It's the attention to detail, the seat, the stones. It's just a rich tapestry of colour. It's a lovely vegetable garden. We've got our own little pot of vegetables and fruit and everything. Be able to make some lovely jam. Delicious. And we even have a little gate to protect it from the ducks munching on the lettuce. The duck pond is an Olympic duck pond. I think it's the crown jewel of the whole garden. The ducks have plenty of space now in the pond to swim around. They're absolutely delighted with it, as am I.
Boys are very, very happy. They're a dream family. I did my best to give them a dream garden.
James spent €500 of his budget on his hardwood fencing, $2,000 on the features and pond, and $1,200 on planting. What will the judges think of this garden?
When I walked into that garden, I got a really nice feeling from it. There was a sense of calmness. It was full of personality. I was completely taken aback, actually. I thought it was really good.
Well, it was a very difficult brief to take on, to harmonise 10 ducks in a vegetable garden, and I think he has very successfully achieved his desires.
I'm not actually convinced that he has dealt with the ducks properly. I actually think he ducked the poetry poo question. And I'll tell you why I'm quite serious. There's no capacity there to deal with 10 ducks using that as a toilet. If they don't change that water every couple of weeks, that's going to stink to high heaven.
I would possibly slightly question the wall on the left-hand side getting adequate sun for the fruit trees he had planted on it. I don't think there was that much sun getting to that area.
To my mind, it's all about that door, that Gothic door in the back.
I like that door. It's in the right position. It's centrally placed. There's ivy around it.
You didn't think it looked a bit gimmicky? It looked like it was planted on?
No, I thought, well done.
I'd expect better.
The one issue I would have is I thought his plant palette was narrow. I think there was scope for a wider plant palette in the garden to make it that little bit more interesting.
I looked very hard. I went through that garden with a fine-tooth comb, looking for mistakes, looking for things weren't quite finished, and I had to look very hard to find them. I think he did a really good job on that front.
That is the last time the judges will discuss James's garden. Will he be tonight's winner? Polish-born Agata Mochior is our third competitor. She was given a garden belonging to Anne-Marie Murphy and Niall Gilmartin in Maynooth. They wanted a wow funky space that would be suitable for entertaining and for Marley the dog.
If Super Garden was all about hard graft and determination, there's no doubt that Agatha would win, hands down.
It was 5 weeks of very intensive learning curve for me. It was probably midnight on the last day. We were working really hard and I was like, we're not gonna make it. But the guys were there and they said, who is gonna make it if not us?
This is Anne-Marie and Niall's finished garden. Agata's large art wall dominates the space and is surrounded with beds full of plants and flowers. A sunken patio area provides scope for outdoor entertaining.
When we saw it first, it really stood out, didn't it? Like, she's so strong with a piece of art in her garden.
Yeah. Private gallery.
Patio is going to be my favourite.
Oh my God.
This is gorgeous.
The garden looks so much bigger from...
It does, doesn't it?
Almost like the depth gives it a whole kind of different feel, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Get used to this.
I'm really happy with it. I'm just looking forward to, like I say, produce another baby like a garden.
She spent €1,600 of her budget on her planting scheme and more than $2,500 on hardscaping and paving. What will the judges think of her garden as they assess it for the last time?
Did it deliver the wow factor?
I think it did. I think it was a real bold design statement when we walked around the corner and that painting hit us in the face. And I was impressed by that.
Well, I was too. It reminded me of a kind of a boutique type of a garden, very individualistic.
The art was powerful. The difficulty was, I think Agatha conceived it as an art gallery almost.
There's this very well constructed sunken seating area at the back of the garden. When you go in there and you sit down, you don't see the painting. That's very clever. That rules out this idea of an art gallery.
So your point is that you don't have to look at it all the time?
You don't have to look at it all the time.
Except every time you look out the window.
And that is where I think we should have had the water feature to take the
That was
focus
in
off
the
the
original
painting.
plan.
And I'm disappointed. If I was the client, I'd be going, where's my water?
One other major issue, I think Marley, the dog, plays ball in that garden. I'm not an expert on training dogs, but I think it's going to be very hard to train a dog not to cause serious damage in that garden.
Big disappointment, if you like, with this garden was the lack of finish. You cannot have loose tiles, a dash of varnish thrown onto a bit of soft wood. There's a lot of nice materials in there, but it's almost a sin to see that done and it not be done properly.
Is this a garden for Maynooth?
I actually think it is. There's a little bit of escapism. These people are adventurous. They wanted something exciting, something different.
They've got a very funky garden. It has a wow factor.
And it would look very good as a show garden. Visitors to Bloom would love that garden.
Has Agatha's statement garden impressed the judges? Will she be the winner tonight? Coming up in Super Garden, there are 2 designers left to judge. Padraig O'Loughlin and his seaside garden and Fiachra Flannery's family garden. The judges must pick a winner.
And the winner of Super Garden is...
Super Garden, proudly sponsored by Woody's DIY Garden Centres and Growwise from Bord na Mona.
Tonight on Super Garden, our 5 amateur garden designers will meet in Powerscourt House in the Garden of Ireland. One of them will win the coveted title of Best Amateur Garden Designer and the prize to show a garden at Bloom 2010. The 3 judges have been deliberating all day. They must pick one winner, and the task is not easy.
We're trying to compare and contrast designers with different levels of experience and knowledge, and they've all had very specific briefs they've had to meet.
Plans must be an intrinsic part of the design. There must never be an afterthought.
To win a competition like Super Garden, you have to have your own little special quality. You want to stand out from the norm.
Full-time Garda, Padraig O'Loughlin, is the 4th competitor. He was given a garden belonging to Dara and Trish Campbell and their children Alana and Noah in Skerries. Trish wanted a space that reminded her of her grandmother's cottage garden.
With Padraig, it was absolutely amazing to meet somebody who had such a wealth of ideas. And they just keep coming.
I suppose it's just trying to keep the whole thing in unison and designing the garden and keeping the guys thinking over, and you're 24/7 with that garden, and overall went through the whole design and construction of it in the most simplest way possible.
This is the Campbells' completed garden. Padraig married a seaside theme with cottage colour and planting. The use of tall trellis has created privacy and an atmosphere of sanctuary.
My favourite part of the garden has to be this area here with the fern, because it reminds me of my grandmother's garden here in this painting.
The one thing that we asked Padraig could he try and generate was a bit of privacy, and I think he's really generated that well.
It's everything that we've asked for and more. We really can't thank Padraig enough for doing this for us.
Absolutely.
It's fantastic.
Thanks, Padraig.
I've put my heart and soul and my skills into that garden, and it's been a wonderful, wonderful experience, and that's why it's 10 out of 10.